Keri's Kitchen. I'm Keri. This is my kitchen. Alright, so I use this bowl and this masa. It's 100% natural and it's technically an instant masa mix, but there's no junk in it. It's really great. You can find it at any of your Mexican grocers. There's a great online grocery store. If you don't have any Mexican grocers near you or your grocery stores don't carry this or Tapatio, there's a wonderful online grocer that I use that I love, and they deliver to your house. You just order online. It's called Mexi Grocer, M-E-X-I Grocer.com, Mexi Grocer. And I used to, when we first moved to Missouri, I moved from the Southwest. And when we first moved to Missouri, I ordered until I found out where to get this kind of stuff here, I ordered all of my Mexican cooking needs through Mexi Grocer and had them delivered until I found out where to go here. So MexiGrocer.com. Alright, so I have one already open that I need to finish off, but it's not enough. What I usually do with these, it's really easy. You just store it with any of your other stuff. Like the bags are made pretty well, so I never even put them in a flour tin. I just roll them real tight and use a clip. That's it. So I'm going to use the last of this. Now there are measurement instructions on the bag. I don't follow them. They turn out too thick and dry for me. So I eyeball it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put probably about 2 cups of the masa mix in here. This is a corn masa versus a flour masa. I just prefer corn tortillas with my fish tacos. So really, it doesn't even matter. I'm going to put as much in here as however many people I'm feeding. And you'll kind of figure it out as you go. If you're up to making homemade tortillas, you'll figure it out. Because the masa itself will absorb water. That's all it does. I'm putting salt in here. I've got this masa. It's I probably have 2.5, 3 cups here, okay? And then I'm taking a couple of good pinches of salt. And then if I had used a lime in my guacamole, I would have used the other half and put it in here just for a little extra lime kick to it, but you don't need it. And then you start your tap water on warm. I take my rings off. I'm getting the water heated up. And I wish I had real cameramen to show you how this happens, but I don't. So I'm going to kind of show you as I go. Hi, honey. So you get your water really warm, almost hot, to where you can handle having your hands in it. You need to use your hands for this. So like I said, take your rings off. And then I'm going to start adding water and mixing with my hand. And adding water and mixing with my hand until it's to the right consistency. And that's why I don't measure, because it's pointless. So you see, I started with a little water here. See, it's kind of floating on the top. And I'm just going to play with it. Scraping the sides, kneading it. And you can see it's dry, really dry. So I add more water. And you just make sure it's on the hot side, because that will give you much more pliability as you're making the masa. They do say on the bag to use warm water. And you'll just figure out when you can make good, when it feels like Play-Doh. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I am kneading this until it's Play-Doh. And I'm just adding little bits of water at a time. The first bit of water that I added was a heftier portion, because I knew I would need at least that much water, right? So now I'm just adding little bits at a time, incorporating it and seeing how it feels. It's still a little too dry, but if I add too much water, I'm kind of screwed, and you gotta add more masa, mix, etc. But once it gets to the point where I can start kneading it, it's close. See, it's falling apart, but it's almost there. This should be right. This should be the last water I'll need. Yeah. So you just you are the KitchenAid with this, right? So now it's where I can do this. I can fold it, right? Fold, knead. Fold. My bowl, this bowl is really round. It's still my favorite, but sometimes it kind of tips to the side. You gotta know how to hold it. See? So now if you look, there's nothing stuck to the sides anymore. It's all a ball of dough. See? So now I could even take it out if I wanted to. I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is pinch off little bits and roll balls. I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so that's ready. I'm just going to set it aside until I get the rest of my prep area for it good to go. Okay, so tortilla time. What I do is I set out a tea towel. I use a towel and put it out here like this. And then I have a tortilla press, which I love. You can get this, I got this on Amazon.com. It was given to me as a gift, but I had put it on my Amazon.com wish list. It's fantastic. If you ever even want to make your own homemade tortillas, get one of these. It's so much easier than rolling them out. It's fantastic. And this is like a very traditional tortilla press. It's super heavy and it's really easy to work with. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I've tried wax paper, I've tried, you name it. The best thing is stretch tied or plastic wrap. So I just kind of stretch it out the length of this. And then I come down here to the hinge and tuck it under on this side. So then I have a nice little area to put little balls of masa and press tortillas. So now I'm going to get my skillet. All right, so I have a skillet here. It's a cast iron skillet. The only thing I use it for is tortillas. I don't cook eggs in it. I don't cook anything else on it except for tortillas. That's what I use this for solely. I'm going to put that on this front burner on medium high, and once it gets really nice and hot, piping hot, we'll go ahead and start some tortillas. Because I used a nice hot water when I made the tortillas, like it was hot enough, it was hotter than warm, that I could still touch it even though it was hot, but it was really warm, that I had a lot of pliability, and that it could sit here for me to finish the fish and push it to the back burner on low and get this heated and set up my station. So you do want to use a fairly hot water when you make your masa, your dough ball, so that you can still work with it when you're ready to start pressing, that it's still warm enough that you can do that. All right, so it's time to make our tortillas. So what I have here is my tortilla warmer. I love my tortilla hat. It's fantastic. I got it at the dollar store in Arizona, because you can get this kind of stuff at the dollar store in Arizona. And I love it. I use it like crazy. Get a tortilla warmer. If you're ever interested in serving warm tortillas, if you make a lot of Southwestern food, get a tortilla warmer. They're awesome. Like I said, I got this at the dollar store. You can find one really cheap, but it's really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tortillas. When I make them, I'm going to put a cloth napkin in here or a tea towel, and as I make them, I'm going to put them in here, and they stay really nice and warm until we're ready to eat dinner. So, I'll get that ready. Ooh. All right. And then, onto the tortillas. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pinch off a little bit of my masa into the palm of my hand, right? And make a little ball. See? And then I set it right about here. I hope you can see this. I'm afraid you can't. Okay. Set this right here. A little closer to the hinge side, because if you put it right in the middle, it all squirts out this way. So you put it a little closer to the hinge side, close it down, and whoop, smush it. Now, I pull it up like this, and leave the plastic there, and slowly peel the plastic off. Because if you pull the plastic up with it, it'll rip your tortilla. So I slowly peel the plastic off, kind of come to the corner, and peel it off, sort of like a sticker. And there you have it. There's my tortilla. And I'm just going to put it right down here. Now, while this first one's cooking, I make a couple more and set them out on my towel. My towel I have sitting out here, I use a low lint kitchen towel or a tea towel. The press only takes up about half the towel, so the other half I can use. It's a clean surface area that I can use to lay out the next 4 tortillas basically. So I can do other stuff, mingle with people, come back, flip things over, grab them, and then press a few at a time, because it only takes a couple seconds to press a couple tortillas. So I'm going to grab another little handful and make a ball, stretch the paper up, put it there, or the plastic wrap, and smoosh. And this is a cute little mason tortilla. This is a little bit smaller. He likes those. So, and then I just set it there on that towel. So what you'll notice is it's almost ready to flip. The sides start to curl up just enough where I can grab it. Flip it over. It's that easy. And then I just keep an eye on it until it starts to almost rise, or you can smell the edges start to blacken a little bit, which is delicious. Even if that happens, don't think of it as burnt. You're gonna put it in here and it's gonna stay soft. Even though that happened, it just adds a little bit of character, a little bit of flavor. Almost like when you grill meat, how because you've grilled it, it has that charred flavor to it. This isn't gonna taste charred, but those little black bits and the darker brown bits are important in a tortilla. They really are. Those, you notice, even when you buy a tortilla at the store, at the grocery store, a mass-produced one, it's got little brown bits. Those are the parts that got extra cooked as it was going through, that came directly in contact with whatever surface, got a little too hot. That adds the flavor. That's why tortillas taste so good. See, it's not ready yet. I can't. Oh, yeah, that looks good. I'm going to give it another second. So just gently grab the sides. You can use tongs. Personally, I think that I much prefer to use my hands for this. So right now it's almost too hot to touch, but I want to show you. So if you can see, there's little black bits. Woo, it's hot. And then here's the other side. See? And some of them will get darker and some of them will be lighter, but because we're putting them in a warmer, they're gonna stay moist. Now, if you don't line your warmer, they will get wet and soggy and gross. So make sure to line your warmer with a tea towel or a cloth napkin. We use cloth napkins in our house. The only time I use paper napkins is if for like Mason's school lunches and stuff. So I just have them around. They're the perfect size. If you don't use cloth napkins, it's better for the environment too. You just throw them in with your lights or, you know, a load of hot napkins. If you have enough of them, just do a small load as soon as you run low and you're good to go. And it feels more elegant every time you eat. It's nice. All right, so the sides are starting to curl up a little bit. I'm gonna grab it, flip it. Perfect. Now, as you go, I found that the skillet does get a little hotter and a little more true to the temperature of its cooking surface. So sometimes you have to sort of man the controls and turn it down just a tiny bit and then back up and then down and then back up, but really not much. Most of the time I don't. You just have to pay closer attention to the tortillas and flip them faster once it gets hotter. But if it gets too hot, you'll see raw areas with cooked areas, and then you know you need to turn it down. Oh, it's looking so good. Oh, that's perfect. See? This is one of those bits I'm talking about. See? A little birdie bit? It's good stuff. All right, so I'm going to put that in there and make a couple more. My fish is smelling fantastic, by the way. If you're watching this to learn to make tortillas and you didn't watch my fish episode, my fish taco episode, it goes great with these tortillas. I recorded it at the same time because it's all part of that meal. Something about the smell of this has become one of my signature dishes, really. I have friends requesting it, family members requesting it for me to make it when they visit and to give them the recipe. And I am not one for writing down recipes. I don't enjoy it. It's crazy. It's like pulling teeth to get me to send someone a recipe, and I feel bad because I love to cook and I'd love to share it with people. So this is how I do it now. I always tell people, come over and cook with me. You want to know how I make that? Come over and cook with me. I'll show you how I make it. I just rather show people, you know? So now I'm doing what I talked about. I'm taking a few and making them and setting them aside. Now that I've gotten through the instructional part, really, and you can sort of see the flow, the workflow, straightening back out the plastic wrap, putting that there, smushing it, taking it off while that one's cooking. So in the time I can make one tortilla, I can make 3 or 4 backups. Usually I tend to do 3 backups and leave the 4th one in here. That's kind of my pattern. Not for any reason, just because that's what is most comfortable for me. Beautiful. They're perfect. They look so good. Jameson, I got a few tortillas for you. So this is the time in my tortilla and fish taco making that my family gets very excited because they get to come out and have guacamole on tortillas. So I always make plenty.
Please, please.
Please, please, please.
Tortilla.
All right. I got tortillas. Daddy, the guac's in the fridge.
What?
The guac's in the fridge, sweetheart. Ah,
No,
that's the pico.
Yeah, but you can have the pico now.
I don't want it right now, baby.
Look right here. Okay, you want me to just take out this whole thing?
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
You're
What?
welcome.
What do you left?
Yeah, have some guac on tortillas, baby.
Because
My son is jumping. He's jumping up and down. Yay!
give me some.
You're too silly.
Give me
Guacamole,
some.
Coco.